Okay, everyone, Ajahn Supawan back with another episode of, again, we are touching the topic of the source and nirvana, which Ajahn Supawan is an expert on that. And I feel, like in the beginning, I have no idea what it is. You were the one to introduce this to me, and I feel like when we talk about earlier about the star of Aries in astrology has given the lights. Now we're in Taurus, right? But before that, a lot of people, like if you know about the Schumann resonance, there's a website that shows all the heartbeats of the world, right? So it like went very high, and a lot of people are just kind of like getting all this information, like on the internet, and they're like, well, what's going on? Where am I from? Who am I? you know it's quite fascinating. So all this leads to the expertise of Ajahn Supawan, which you will be explaining to us about more about the source.
Okay. Hello, Peter. um, yes, we're talking about the source. I got to rewind a bit. I only just learned about the word source not that many years ago, really. What I knew before, it was the term nirvana. You see, I'm the product of the Buddha's teaching, which uh, after follow on his guidance in his footsteps, for so many years, I earned my own spiritual experience, you know, which is quite extraordinary. Which is the experience that something that I have confidence now to say that that was the state of nirvana that the Buddha have talked about. But not many people dare, have courage to use this word, this traditional word, because it's such a big word, such a big word. But one must know that the term nirvana is only a name, it's only a label. That is not the real knowledge. A label is just a label, just a name. It's just in terms of words. But the actual experience is the real knowledge. And that actual experience is something that I have gained, achieved so many years ago, which give me the path, give me the authority, the power to be what I am today, expounding all this book and then share the experience to my students. So I want to emphasize that the actual experience is the real knowledge, and that actual experience is within the individual who have the practice, and that practice is vipassana. That practice is vipassana, or in the West, you call the mindfulness meditation. Okay. In fact, there are 4 foundations. Sorry, I have to show you the picture of you in Thai language. Okay. So you start with the first, second, third foundation, and the 4th foundation, which is a full cycle. And this 4th foundation is the experience of nirvana, really, which I coined a terminology for easy understanding. Okay. And that term is the innocent perception. So when I talk about this experience, sometimes, a lot of the time, I cannot rationalize it. People try to ask me that, what is this experience? Can you explain? I cannot explain everything about this innocent perception of nirvana. Everyone must earn this experience by themselves. Okay. Earn it by invest your time, dedicate yourself into the practice of vipassana, or the 4 foundation of mindfulness, which I have give the guidance a step by step. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, to help my student to get to the 4th foundation. Once they get to the 4th foundation, they would be able to blend in with everything. You see, it start to get blurry now. Blend in. What do you mean by blend in? Exactly like I said, you cannot really understand just through words alone. You need to practice. And when I teach my student to practice, I will do along with them. I don't just, sit on the on the throne and start the talking, the teaching, and then let them go home and do it by themselves. No, I don't do that. When we do meditation, I will guide them step by doing together. It's very much like engage on a spiritual journey together. Too. So we start with focusing on a breath, movement, and sensation, all these things to reduce our Jerry. I don't know whether your audience, remember my term of Jerry. I got Tom and Jerry. If you, watch my analogy, my YouTube, you would understand that. I give the analogy of this life form that we have five elements. Okay, 5 components. Let me show you this. Just a quick recap. So this represents the life form, human life form. So we got the body, the external part that we can see in the mirror. And then we got our thoughts, memories, and feelings, which I represent with Jerry. Okay, with Jerry, Tom and Jerry. And then our soul, our spirit, our soul, which is our consciousness, really, represent with this red thing in there. This red thing in there. Okay, that is our consciousness or soul. Okay, so you got the body, mind, and spirit. Body, mind, consciousness. Okay, so the full foundation of mindfulness. Oh, okay, rewind just 1 second. So
Sure.
the normality of people's life is that our life, our real self is not the part that we can see in the mirror. Our real self is, in fact, our consciousness, the real core of life. This body is only a vessel, okay? It's only a shell, a vessel, not a real self. A real self is the one, is the driver. Let's say that this one is a car, and there are real self inside is the driver of this car, of this vessel. So when I talk about ourselves, I talk about our inner self, our true self, which is this part, a consciousness, okay, which I personify, call it as mental self. So in our everyday life, we can say that every single human being really has been bombarded by a whole army of Jerry. This Jerry is the representation of our daily problems, because Jerry is the carrier of all our problems. Okay, and then Jerry take us over and then create this matrix world, this hologram in our head, in our heart. Okay, and mess our life up. So the birth of the Buddha, the enlightenment of the Buddha, is nothing more than trying to help us, okay, help us to be free, disconnect and go beyond this carrier of all problems or Jerry. And how to do that is by doing vipassana or mindfulness meditation. Okay, which there are 4 steps. So once you do this mindfulness meditation, you can reduce the population of Jerry until you get to that void. Void is void from Jerry. Your physical, body is still here, very much exists along with your sight, sound, smell, taste, and texture. It means that the external world still very much exists. But in here, in your head, in your heart, that you're, all over the place because of Jerry. All this Jerry will be all vanished, being purged by means of mindfulness meditation of vipassana. Okay, which allow you to see this void from Jerry, void from your thought, void from your problems. And this very experience, the Buddha called nirvana. That's why the Buddha, talk a lot about nothingness, selfless, or void. Sun Yang is mean void. In fact, it's just void from, from Jerry. That's all. So this is the part that I try to lead my student into it by means of meditation, by means of vipassana. And then while they're in that state, okay, in that meditative state, that they experience the mental space or the void, I would highlight for them. I will ask a few questions. If it's a live, one-to-one or a group with a group of audience, but on the really live teaching, I will have certain question and ask the entire audience just to say the yes or no, that kind of thing. Yes, see or not see, that kind of thing. Just one word, very quick, to give me some idea that, okay, my student, okay, the meditator, they have purged Jerry, and that now they can see the void, which in fact, everyone who have engaged in meditation before, especially those who have done so many years, they would experience this void, this mental space, very high, I mean, very likely, highly likely that they would experience the void. But the problem is that they don't know what this void, what this mental space is like, is to connect with the name, the terminology, or the label. They only just know that, oh, it's so blissful, oh, it's so calm, oh, it's so good, being blissful, being calm, being, tranquil, all these things. And that they just know that it's good. But the last thing that they would know is that, in fact, this void or this mental space is, in fact, the state of nirvana, which many years later, I could connect, with my own wisdom, with my own intuitive wisdom. I know it that this is the state of the source that they all talk about in the spiritual community right now. Exactly the same, the space, because this state of mind, this void, this mental space, in fact, is the ultimate truth. I'm trying to looking for a book of mine. I have my latest book called The Four Noble Truths. Okay, I try to help people to make their life easier, really, because I know that whoever that practice meditation, they would experience this mental space, the void from Jerry, but they don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. If you don't have this eureka experience to give you that intuitive wisdom to help you, to allow you to know that this actual experience connect with all these different labels. The label that they call nirvana, the label that they call God in Christianity, if you're a God believer, or Tao, Lao Tzu, okay, from Tao Te Ching, or the term like the ultimate truth, or a very neutral term like here and now, the actual presence, okay, and then I also connect with the term the tree of knowledge, the tree of life, and then source. I think I got about 20 or 30, terminology to accommodate people of all beliefs. Okay, and one of that that I think that is quite interesting is the term the final frontier. That is from Star Trek. If you're a fan of Star Trek, the final frontier, where nothing can go beyond. And this experience is indeed that state of mind that nothing can go beyond. There is nothing, no frontier. It is absolutely the final frontier, because we think that there are the frontier that you can, go and explore. That frontier is created in the matrix world, okay, by Jerry. Okay, either dark Jerry or clear Jerry or pink Jerry or white Jerry, different type of Jerry. If you want to know more about this Tom and Jerry, you got to go into my channel and find out more, okay? Yeah, but I just want to connect this actual experience, which is the real knowledge, with all these different terminologies that they have used, so widely at the moment in the spiritual community. So let's say that I know for certain, I know for sure the actual experience of source. Okay, so my own terminology is the innocent perception. The innocent perception, which is the state of mind that everyone can achieve, okay, can have access to it quite easily if you follow the technique that I talk about. Okay, the full foundation of mindfulness or vipassana. So this is just to connect for you about the source, the experience of the source, okay, with the terminologies first, just to make it clear to you that this is the knowledge that we can achieve even nowadays. Okay, so what exactly your your question? Give
So
me more question, Peter.
yeah,
Mhm. Do you follow this? I mean, what I say so far, is it clear to you?
well,
Yeah.
I've been practicing it. I mean, like I took probably about 2 months off, 2 months and a half or something. Yeah. Like getting in touch with myself and, like whatever you talked about in your channel and also my channel as well has kind of boost what I was searching for, right? So there's a lot of question, but I'll get to it one by one. And I feel the dimensions that we're living in right now, I guess we call it the third dimension, right? You talked about that in the channel as well. And the third dimension, it's 3D dimension, right? It's nothing much. It's just like basically we live as a slave to money, right? And then consume, buy materialistic things, right? And then there's a fourth dimension, and then now we talked about. There's a lot of people who talked about it too. Hashtag fifth dimension, which I think a lot of people don't really follow religion. Like if you know Ajahn Supawan, she talks about nirvana, right? Nirvana is really similar to the fifth dimension because the state of mind that you're in the fifth dimension is like peace, love, compassion, and all this, good things, right, inside of you. So you're not really having that Jerry that controls you and makes you angry with everything, right? So when people do this practice, right, they try to look for something. Like, for instance, how long does it take to get to where you are? Like, they want the answer and they want to know how long does it take for them to get to certain places in their state of mind. But here's the thing. When we talk about meditation, right, people are like, oh my God, I got to sit and do nothing for what? Like at least 5 or 10 minutes. But a lot of people now, they live in this fast life, fast food. They're moving so fast, going to the train station, and they're always listening to something, either music or podcasts or certain things like that. So, is it hard? Like, is it a lot of sacrifice to get to actually start something like this? Do you know what I'm talking about, Ajahn Supawan? Like, what do you have to sacrifice, and will that be worth it in the end? Like, for example, oh, you gotta sacrifice your music. You can't just always listen to rock music or go out to the pub and drink and join a club with your friends and things like that, right? So I have sacrificed a lot of that, and I feel at the end it felt good. But Ajahn Supawan, I can't be the one talk about that because nobody really understand until they get there, right? But an expert like yourself with the source, how, I mean, you did talk about it in the cave. You were in the cave, literally in the cave for like what, 6 months, 7 months, right? So if you want to know how hard Ajahn Supawan worked, that's how hard she worked, right? Me, I'm just slowly getting there. So would it be a lot of sacrifice, do you think, into
Oh,
this?
okay, thank you. Thank you for this question. First of all, I wasn't in the cave for 7 months, 6, 7 months now. I left home for 7 months, but I was in the cave only 3 months.
Oh,
Yeah,
right, right.
3 months. Yeah, but altogether, and prior to that, I was in a temple in the northern province in Thailand. But altogether, 7 months. Oh wow! When you talk about that, I'm a bit concerned now. I don't want people to think that, oh my God, you got to sacrifice yourself. You got to go live in the cave, live in the temple. No, 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 nothing like that. And honestly, I didn't plan to do all that. It just happened. It just happened at that moment. Okay. But I just want to say that, okay, my journey, everyone's journey is all unique and individual. Okay, you cannot take my example and thought that you got to do exactly like me. No, you don't. Okay, because my journey is the journey which at that time I didn't know that it was a journey of a teacher. It was a journey of training myself to be a spiritual teacher, which I didn't know at that time. All I knew at that time at Thammasat University, during my student year, went through 2 crackdowns from the government that killed a lot of students there. So I was a mess. I was absolutely a mess. I was bombarded by a whole army of Jerry, and my pain was absolutely excruciating, which I need help. That's why Buddha, please help me. And I didn't really understand how to do or anything. So all I knew is that I must go away. I must go away from home, go to the temple and try to isolate myself, all these things, just trying to get rid of this pain, this block of pain. And at that time, I knew that cave it was a forest monastery, really, in the jungle, that I knew since the student year. So I just went back because I just really want some isolation, okay, solitude, that I could deal with Jerry, this block of Jerry myself. Yeah, that's all. So, but that time I didn't plan. I didn't know anything in front of me at all. Okay, at the age of 23, I didn't know anything at all. All I knew was that I just want to get rid of this pain. Anyway, to cut the story short, my journey just kept on going. Okay, keep on going. And then until I had that, what I call the Eureka experience, which happened quite a few times. The first time during while I was still a student at Thammasat University, I talk about it already. And then another big time is when I was teaching Tai Chi and meditation at Birmingham University in 1997. And that was that extraordinary experience. It was the breakthrough that allowed me to know that this mental space, okay, this void within that I have grown so familiar with, before that, up to that point anyway, I was so familiar with. Only then did I know that there was nirvana, there was Godhood. Okay, and then many years after, I said, okay, this is source, because at that time no one used the terminology source. No, it's
Nobody.
just God, isn't it? Source is relatively quite a new term to me anyway. Okay, I only just know it. The first one that I heard from was Simon Park talk about source, and then after you listen to a lot more of this, community, the spiritual community, they all talk about source, talk about ascension, Dolores Cannon, all this thing, and then okay, source. What is source then? I know. I work it out myself. That was the experience that I have grown familiar, since the student year. So come to the practice. So everyone is individual. So I emphasize again that my trajectory of my journey, is now I look back after so many years, I could say that was something that I must do to prepare me to be Ajahn Supawan, teaching meditation of today. But if you if you don't plan to be a teacher, and in fact, to be a teacher, a spiritual teacher, you must not plan. You must not plan, because if your star, if you are destined to be one, you will be one regardless. Okay, regardless. I don't want to be a teacher once I get married, to my English husband with 3 boys. I never thought to do anything else, because being a mother is full-time. It's full-time job. Okay, but you see, despite this really busy life of being a mom, being a wife, all these things, I got that force within, the force within that tried to guide me to be what I am today. Okay, so I started writing a book, when my middle son was 3 years old, exactly on his 3rd birthday. Okay, I carry my Olympia, typewriter and sat in front of the toilet bowl, because in the bathroom is the only place we didn't have any central heating, only 2 rooms in the room. In the bathroom we got a bit of radiator, and then in the living room we got the gas fire, and then the rest of the house was just dead cold. And that was January. It's just so cold, but I got this drive, this really strong drive from within, tell me to do all this work. So my first book happened on the 3rd, on the 16th of January, I can say that, the 16th of January, 1980, 80 something, 86. Yeah, my son was only 3. Yeah, so that was it, and then this drive, it just keep on to talk from this point. When I look back, you can say that I have this spirit guide, or my higher self has been guiding me all along. Or you can say Buddha. I don't know exactly who, but I just know that this force within in my head that talking to me, that I didn't spill a word to anyone, because I don't want them to put me in the madhouse.
Asylum.
Okay, in the asylum. So I just really zip my mouth, but you can appreciate all this confusion in there, all this, something that I have to deal with myself. I have been so alone because I could share I could not share with anyone around, honestly, before being a teacher. But as I say, you should not make a wish that I wish to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I'm going to prepare to be a spiritual teacher. No, because exactly like what happened to me, I don't want to be, and I don't have any confidence, to write the Dharma book, because I'm being a woman as well, like myself, married to a foreigner. I know that a woman like me got no place in Thailand, in Thai society, especially in the spiritual, in the Dharma world. The Dharma world, the Buddha's teaching, in Thailand, it belongs to men. It's a really male dominant society.
Right.
They're not going to accept a housewife married to a Farang, have children teaching them meditation. No way. And I don't want to be. I know that I'd be stampede. No. So my plan was that, but the pressure from within, it's just so great that I could not ignore, you see. I could not ignore. So, okay, because those are all the pent up energy that I need to release. So I release them through writing. And my original intention is that, okay, I'm going to send all this book, publish in Thailand without me going to Thailand, just read from my book alone. And every book of mine, I never have a book with the picture on my front cover. Never.
I noticed, yes. I noticed that.
Never. All this book, there is no picture of mine in the cover. None of them. Okay, because I don't want people to know me. It's good for them to know just from the writing, and then just that's it. That's it. Being anonymous. But you see, this is what my star you talk about, the astrology,
the rising star.
This is what the star is destined to be. Just recently, I listened to Matthias Di Stefano. Okay, this man is so interesting. He had his memory when he was in Egypt, in Atlantis, and then he got all this memory, intact. Anyway, he talked about the different horoscope. He used the calendar of the Atlantis time, which there were 360 days solid. Okay, it's not no dangling 64, 65 day, that kind of thing. And then he talked about all this horoscope. And then on that day, he talked about Aries, which this is my birth month. Okay, so I listened a bit, and he said that the star is all energy. It's all about photon, or it's all this, bouncing around. Okay, so each star is, group of star. It got the function the function, the specific function. And that function of Aries in our horoscope is the function of creation of life, of light, creating light. And I happen to born in that star. And this is the reason why my life has been shaped into this way. Prepare me. So my life in the past is all the preparation to be an Ajahn Supawan later on in life. That helped me to understand, even though I don't want to be, but everything is just shaping more on its own, okay, to be like what I am today. So I can understand fully now. So I just want to clarify this, that you don't have to walk exactly like what I do. Okay, what I give advice to my student is that trying to discipline yourself as best as you can. As best as you can, to allow yourself to have the time to do the structured meditation in each day. But most importantly, before you sit down and do meditation, do all these things, to sit down, watch your breath, movement, sensation, all these things, follow the first, second foundation of mindfulness. It is also very important that you've got to have a good map. And that good map is the guidance, is the guided wisdom from a particular teacher, that the teacher whom you can really tune in with your energy frequency. Because there are so many spiritual teachers, meditation teachers, so many meditation schools here and there, but not every teacher that you can tune in, that your frequency is, click. Okay, and if it doesn't click, it doesn't matter how famous that teacher is, it's not going to help you, okay, to understand, because you need to have a good map before you engage in a journey, isn't it? You really need to have a good map. If the map is lousy, you will get lost. You get lost. But if you have a really detailed map, especially going into a spiritual destination like Nirvana, like God, like Source, the map, need even more detail to guide you through, because everything that you deal with is non-physical. It's non-physical, and you're dealing with the component in your head, in your heart, which I call Jerry, your thoughts and feelings and emotion that you cannot see in the mirror, jumping around like that. If it's physical, if it's tangible, okay, it's easy. It's easier, it's much easier, you know how to deal with. And this is what the physical science is all about. Okay, but not many people know that Vipassana or mindfulness meditation, the way that the Buddha taught, okay, is the spiritual, is the non-physical science. It's a non-physical science in the sense that you have the observer. The observer is your consciousness. If you use the word consciousness, you can't carry on. That's why I got to personify this nature of consciousness and call it your mental self, okay, your inner self, which act like an observer. Your true self act as an observer. And then you got the Jerry, the object, okay, the object that you need to observe, and then you need a long period of time to make the observation. And this part is exactly the third foundation of mindfulness that I talk about, that the Buddha talk about. Okay, the sense object for the third foundation is Jerry, which you got to give yourself a good 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 to 30 years to train this one, to keep on observing this nature while it come in and take you over, or when you come back home to your base, have awareness, this thing go away, all these things. I talk about this a lot, okay,
Right.
in my course. You just have to learn. So anyway, and this part, the third foundation of mindfulness is in fact science, is in fact the scientific technique, is the scientific process, okay, to observe the phenomenon within. Observe this phenomenon within. Okay, that is, you got to deal with all this, non-physical. The most difficult part is that both the observer and the observed, both of them are in the form of non-physical, intangible, and trapped within this life form. This is the reason why you need to have a good map. You need to have a very detailed map from a teacher that you can really tune in. That teacher might not be famous, okay? But that teacher can help you to understand what exactly you need to do. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, to help you to walk all the way to the fourth foundation, or nirvana, or source, or God. Okay, and by then you reach a full cycle. I mean, once you have that innocent perception, or source, or God, okay, get to nirvana, you will see your breath, your movements, see everything in front of you as the nature of God, or melt in. Okay, you just melt in, losing yourself, you forget yourself, lose yourself, and then just melt in with God. The most clearest analogy I got to refer to Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. Have you watched Deep Space Nine?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Odo is a changeling, right? Okay, and then the collective changeling, isn't it? What do they call? Is there a word? Yeah, changeling, isn't it?
Changeling, yeah.
Yeah, the changeling. Okay, it's the liquid. Okay, so source can be equated to that pool of liquid of the changeling. Okay, but at the same time, okay, and this is a good, at the same time, that source, so let's say that source represent with this stem. Okay, at the same time, that source, that changeling, can create the solid, create the individual solid. You see that? That create Odo, create, A, B, C, D, F, G. But in the end, all together, okay, all those different individuals that create the diversity, they all stem from source, all the same. Okay, so wrap this part up first. It means that once you get to the fourth foundation that I call innocent perception, at that moment, even though your physical body appear to be individual and separate from others, okay, but within the moment that you're void from Jerry, that experience, that final experience, you have melted to that pool of nothingness, that void. You just disappear, gone. And there is no individual person, there is no Supawan, no Peter, no Rosalind, no here and there, no nothing. It's just nothing. That's why the Buddha used the words no self. And I mean, people can understand. If you try to analyze, through the words alone, you get nowhere. You get nowhere. I tell you that. Without the practice, you get nowhere. But once you practice, you can learn from the actual experience, and then you will understand. You will understand all these, source. So I already put this up. Okay, so source is, I'm going to refer to the Law of One from the book, the collection of book called Ra, the Law of One. Have you heard of, Peter?
I just heard Ra, but not Law of One.
Ra, well, Ra, that we know, the Egyptian god,
yes.
right? But the Egyptian make Ra into a god, but in fact, Ra is just the non-physical being, that stem from source. Okay, they are the very first generation, the architect of the universe, let's say, the architect, the engineer of the universe. So come back to source that try to help people to understand, okay, is that originally, okay, there is only one thing that you call the primordial consciousness. So that original entity, if you want to call entity, is not matter or it's not energy. It's just intelligent infinity. Okay. The Buddha called ธาตุรู้อมตะ. Sorry, I have to talk in Thai. ธาตุรู้อมตะ, in fact, is the primordial consciousness. It's a state of consciousness. Okay. Which is also intelligent, and this consciousness in itself is infinity. So, and then suddenly this consciousness becomes self-aware. Oh, I am. Just I am. It's not I am this, I am that. Just I am. Oh, and this I am become conscious. So I guess that very first moment that this void, this primordial consciousness become aware of himself. I can't say himself, herself, or itself, just itself. Okay. So frustrating, isn't it? Language is just so limited. Come to source and nirvana, but we have to use it anyway for the sake of, conversing. So anyway, so what happened at that time? I guess that just conscious of nothing, because absolutely nothing there. Okay. This consciousness was intelligent as well. So it talked to himself. Okay, I'm going to fractal myself and explore. I'm going to fractal myself and explore. Okay. And so this thing start to, so consciousness, okay, plus motion. Motion is movement. Equal energy. Write it down. Okay. Peter. Okay. Consciousness. Okay. Consciousness plus motion equal. Okay. Energy.
Equals energy. Okay. Consciousness plus motion equals energy.
Okay. So consciousness plus motion. So consciousness begin to move. Okay. Turn into energy. This is where the energy come from. So come back to this physics now. Okay. The first movement, okay, of this consciousness, the first move, it turned into this scientist. I think it was the Russian scientist. I heard this from David Wilcock. Okay. And he could get to that primordial movement of geometry. And that first geometry is tetrahedron. Okay, so the pyramid shape, really, tetrahedron. That is the first move turned into energy. Okay, that is this is where the geometry come from now. Okay, but you cannot see with your eyes. It's no matter anything yet, and you cannot see it. Just create this motion, this energy, this movement, and the geometry. Okay, the image that it come out is the tetrahedron, and then source. Okay, I do that. I can do that. I will move again. Fractal. They call fractal. So this primordial consciousness fractal itself out. That first fractal they call photon, and that first photon is in the shape of the tetrahedron. So consciousness said that, okay, I'm going to move again. I'm going to fractal one more time. And that fractal one more time is another tetrahedron. So that these two tetrahedron, okay, catch themselves together and turn into Merkaba. So that's why Merkaba is what they call the sacred geometry. Okay, reverse a little bit. Where the word love and light come from. Love and light come from these first two bricks of the universe. Okay, the first tetrahedron that come out, that fractal out, that first photon called love. This love is not about the love of between male and female. No, no, no. This love is the love of creativity, the love of creation, the love to explore, the diversity in the universe, because, just be conscious of the void. Is no excitement, is there? No excitement. So, okay, so that first photon is love. And the second photon that fractal out from consciousness and catch into this Merkaba, okay, this created the first light. The first light. It's just like when you have the lighting the light,
Cigarette, that lighter.
That first light, that first check, and then light. Okay, so this is where the word love and light come from. Okay, it come from this Merkaba. And then, so once this primordial consciousness, okay, fractal itself into these first two photons. So these first two photons turn into the first two bricks that create the universe later on. So basically, this primordial consciousness keep on fractal itself. Okay, so more and more photons come back, fractal from the primordial consciousness, and then bouncing around, okay, and catch into this Merkaba, and then later on, it turned into what you call the Platonic Solid. Got all the different sizes. You heard of the Platonic Solid? I wrote all this knowledge in this book, Beyond Spiritual Ignorance, which is explore into the very root cause of the universe, that where it come from. Okay, you see, so that is from the very beginning. Okay, love and life. And then the universe, it keep on expanding, and then expand in the shape of the infinity, So let me show you this Platonic Solid first. Okay, so what happened is that source, okay, once it fractal itself out, okay, I can do this, I can do that, okay, yeah. And then turn into all the different shape. It got the 4 shape and 6 shape, 6 sides, 8 sides, and then 12 sides, 20 sides, Platonic Solid anyway, all the different shape. And all these different shape is all the individual photon bouncing and then get, packed together into the different shape. Okay, and all this, it just move on. This is the beginning of the evolution now. The beginning of the evolution of the universe. It started with the 2 photons to begin with. The 2 tetrahedron catch into Merkaba, the 2 bricks, the 2 love and light. Okay, or the beginning of the yin and the yang, the yin and the yang. The state of duality. We need to have this state of duality to create the universe. Without the state of duality, we cannot build. That's why love and light, or Adam and Eve. You can talk about Adam and Eve. This is exactly Adam and Eve, okay, which intrinsically is only the photon. And all these photons, they are energy. They're energy, because consciousness plus the movement turn into energy, and then from this energy it start to carry on through the process of evolution. Okay, so to fast forward. So all these photons bouncing around, even now, this primordial consciousness still keep on fractal more photon out, because it's non-stop now, because this thing enjoy herself itself so much that I'm not going to stop. This is so much fun. It's so much fun compared just to sit here by myself, staring into the void. Why? If I can just do all these things. You see, this is the creation of the universe. So fast forward a bit now to the generation. So all these photon bouncing around got light now, because this first the first check, and then the first light, and then more photon, more Merkaba come out bouncing around. Got more light and more light and more light, and get together. So get together, okay, and turn into the generation that the Buddha called Praprom. Praprom is the non-physical being. So Praprom, non-physical being, is nothing more than all these photons. Come on, let's get together to make more light. To make more light, that's all. Okay, but all these things, they begin at the very first generation. Well, first early generation, I don't know exactly how many generations of that early, okay? The way that they think is still very much collective. You see, it's always linked back to this Star Trek, like Borg. The concept of Borg is the collective mind, as well as the changeling collective mind, because the early generation of all this non-physical being, which is in fact the collective photons, stick together. When they think, they all think collectively. Everyone, there is no separation really. Okay, they all know what they think. Okay, there is no separation at that time. Okay, which is very much difficult for us to understand, because earthling people, we are so really much stuck with the concept of individuality, with the concept of separation. Okay, and then we cannot think anything outside that box. But at the very early generation of all these photons, or the non-physical being that stick together, they all have the collective mind. So it has come to another stage of all this collective non-physical being, that they experience another scenario of boredom. Okay, this is the very first boredom that it has. Okay, it has, I don't know, no gender anyway. Okay, and boredom. So it's fractal himself, and then through evolution got this collective light, not individuality, it's just collective being or light being. And then they all maybe have the assembly and talk and say, hang on, look, we have come this far now, or I have come this far, because originally there's just I am, that's all. Okay, so okay, I have come this far, but this far I haven't seen any more diversity apart from light. I look here, light and light and light and light and light, left, right, center, up and down is only light. Come on, we got to do something better. We got to do something better than this, better than light, because it's boring, isn't it? Just light. Although it's better than nothing, but it's still boring. No, come on, let's think. So they have a think tank. They have the think tank, and they evolve again. Evolution. They evolve again, which is all these photons again, bouncing around again, until we get to another level that they manage to create the state of individuality, but in the form of the light being. But at least they can think differently. They don't have to, all connect to the collective thinking. I can think different from you. This one can think different. Okay. Oh yeah, that's good. If you can think differently, come on, we're going to try to build, create some other thing that is more exciting. And their goal is to create a material world. So, okay, evolution again, until they could create the sun. So all these collective photons get together, a massive sun, S-U-N, sun, spinning around like this. And then this massive sun spinning around, they fractal out into not fractal, it's just the energy is just so great that chunk of that energy spin out and turn into planet. Okay, turn into planet, that energy turn into planet, and then the planets that's to cool down, start to cool down. Oh, okay. So maybe we can create life with solid form, but so by then they got the what, earth, air, water, and wind. You know, the primordial, the basic element, the basic element, okay, which is deep down is still photon, okay, still photon. Okay, so let it cool down, and then to create the solid like this, they need animals. Oh, to create animal, they need plants. They need plants. Okay, so all these non-physical being in that early generation, they call the ancient builder race. Ancient builder race, because this ancient builder race, they are the seed of the human of humanoid, basically, okay, of humanoid. So but through it's not just straight away like this, no, because they know that, okay, we got to create plant first, create strand of grass, you know, trees, water, all these things, and then everything is all coexist. And then all these seed, they come back to earth. So earth at that time is just no humanoid or anything. They are to keep on coming back to see if this plant, this grass, this seed, you know, survive in this kind of environment or not, survive or not. So they keep on coming back to check. And then this is just not one star like Earth, one planet like Earth. They've got so many planets out there, okay, that they keep on doing the seeding, the seeding, and then try this and that. And this is about genetic engineering, okay, try this and that, and they keep on coming back. Oh, and then found that, so let's come back to Earth. Okay, the environment of this place, this planet is good. You know, all these plants can survive, and maybe we can put a humanoid, and to be able to think of the shape of a humanoid is not a straight away like that either. It takes a long period of time through evolution, through testing this and that. Maybe start from protozoa, amoeba, that kind of thing, the basic life form, and then let it evolve. Okay, so let's say a long period of time before it turned into something in humanoid. And humanoid is something that they seeded in the constellation that they call Lyra. Lyra constellation, okay, the planet, one of those planets there, that was the beginning of the humanoid, okay, life like this. But it's still at the beginning, they got to work out there where to put the head, should they have a neck or not, or how many arms, how many eyes, the eyes should put it in the front or the side or the back, you know, nose, all these things, you know, how many arms, how many fingers, hand, how many foot, because some creature has only one leg, one leg housing around, okay, and some got so all this is through a long period of time of evolution that the Buddha called kappa, kappa. It means a long time. So fast forward, in the end, we got this earth and got the solid form. Yeah, we have done it. We've done it. You know, in the end, we have managed to make a solid form to accommodate the soul, the real self, okay, the soul, the consciousness, the primordial consciousness, that fractal out. So to make this form, just for this thing, for this consciousness to have that opportunity to explore the diversity, to explore the differentiations, okay, of the natural environment, which once again is from this origin. There is only this eye, this original eye, that's all. Okay, so we come to this. But the trouble is that to create this solid form, to create this solid form, you need to have the very low frequency, the low vibration of frequency to make it solid. This part is I cannot explain quite well that how from the energy from turn into this solid. I just know that something, it got to, the weight of something got to press down to make energy turn into solid. So energy equal M. E equal M. Energy and mass, they're the same thing. It's just in different form. It's just like water and dewdrop and snow, and rain. They're all in different of the liquid form. That's all. Okay. So what happened is that when come to this solid form, the frequency, the vibration frequency, of this solid form is quite low. Whereas this non-physical being at the beginning, they're of the high, much higher frequency. So which make this become the catch, really. The catch that, okay, whoever soul, all this, consciousness, soul, spirit, that you want to incarnate on earth in this solid form to drive this car, you got to be willing to lower your original frequency to the lower level to make it compatible to this plane of 3D, okay, which means that you will have to forget all your past memory of where you come from. The memory, the most important memory is that you are the fractal, okay, or we call the son of that. That's why Christ said that we are all the son of God. If this is the prime creator, this is God. We are all the son and the daughter of God, all the same, not just Jesus Christ, every one of us, because we are the fractal. We are the product from this fractalization from day one. Okay, so the catch is that once you reincarnate into this physical, into this solid physical body, you forget where you come from. And this is the beginning of all the problem, all of the havoc that happening in the world. Okay, this is one thing, because the frequency is very low. And then secondly, we are born into the society, the earth society, that has been taken over or being manipulated from day one, from the certain type of ET. Okay, by using the money as the chain to enslave humanity. So this makes us, so the media, the mainstream media, the education, the economy, everything that we have in our society is all geared up to brainwash us to make that concept of individuality, okay, of this differentiation even more profound, even deeper, root deeper, which is everything but the truth, We are, in fact, all come from one stem, okay? We are all come from one stem, that is source. But this source want to explore the differentiation, want to explore diversity, because it's boredom, okay? So she himself, itself, create this diversity. Okay, create into leaves, different leaf, and then create the flowers. Even one flowers, you see, have all the different petal, and all these different petal is all the individuality of each human being. Okay, which we are born as the individual, and then all we know, all we remember is that I am this and you are that. Okay, I'm Mrs. Green, different from you, who are Peter, and I'm a woman, you're a man, or this thing. All this this fragmentation, really. Okay, so, but the truth is that no matter how diverse you are, no matter how diverse we are, okay, We forgot that we are come from the same stem, that is the primordial consciousness. And this has become the big problem. This separation from Mother Nature, from source, has become the biggest problem for humanity from day one. Trace back to humanity, to the history of humanity. We are fighting over, the different concept of the individual person, and not knowing that we all come from the same mummy, the same source. Okay, and this is the reason why the Buddha have to come. All these ascended master, all these great teacher in the past have to come, like the Buddha, like Jesus Christ, like Zoroaster, like Lao Tzu, like Nabi Muhammad, all these ascended master, they all come in different period of time, just to remind humanity that you are all the son and daughter of God, all the same. You stem from this, source, this nothingness, all the same. And then they gave us the tool, like the Buddha gave us the tool. And that tool is all come down to loving kindness and compassion and meditation. Okay, like Christ, loving kindness, love your enemy just like you love yourself. What? Love my enemy? No. We kill my daughter, he raped and killed my daughter. I cannot love that person. I hate him. I want to kill him if I can. No. You see, but this, against the grain of your belief, but Christ, he knew exactly what he talked about. Love your neighbor just like you love yourself. Love God most first. Okay, because in the end, he tried to help us to get rid of all this egoistic element, so that you can get rid of Jerry, so that you can get to that mental space, so that you can get to that void again, and then embrace, come back home to God. Come back home to the Garden of Eden in the kingdom of God. This is all the story language. Okay, that's why my technique, my meditation technique, okay, I called it bring your mental self back home. Because your mental self, your true self, has been lost in this mental jungle, okay, unable to come home. And in fact, Christ took us home, Buddha took us home, okay. But come to nowadays, we can't understand all those old language. So I create a new catalog of language, to the modern people who can understand. So bring your mental self back home, but the principle still the same. You still do the same. Okay, so once you can bring your mental self back home, you kick Jerry out. Jerry is the reason, is the cause for your separation from source. Jerry is the reason from your separation from source, make you, feeling totally lost. So that's why this is, I think, to me, this is the most profound and most important knowledge that the Buddha and Christ, want humanity to know, to understand. Okay, but this message, it has become so cloudy now. Everyone will talk about it, talk about source, but quite not many people give you the very detailed map to help the individual to go back home to source. Like bringing Odo, back home to his pool of goo, of that liquid,
Right.
of that liquid, you see.
Right.
But this is exactly what we need to do. Exactly what we need to do to help people to get back. And this is my role at the moment, helping my Thai student, my English speaking student to go back home to source, back home to God, to Nirvana. You see, when you know about source, you can see that I don't have to make any effort to unite religion at all. I don't.
It's not about that, right?
I talk from source from the beginning, and there is only one ultimate truth. This is the ultimate truth. This is the final frontier where nothing can go beyond this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you argue, my God is better than your God, my teacher better than your teacher, my holy book better than your holy book, it means that you haven't actually find the real God, the real ultimate truth yet.
Right.
You have, because if you have, you won't fight over that. And the reason that they fight over that, because they haven't really found the real experience.
Yeah.
So the work trying to help people to get to the real source within. You see, as within, so without. Before you can understand the world without, out here, it's important that you got to understand in here first. In here, so understand in here. In here is all Jerry. It's all either Jerry or source. Is a musical chair. Is a musical chair. So these two states of mind cannot be together. So this is, let's say, the primordial consciousness, or your individual consciousness. Okay, and this is Jerry. This is Jerry. So if you are with source, with the void, you are with source. Okay, and then this experience really well from within. But if you are in this state of mind, especially this clear Jerry, this clear Jerry is the Jerry, the kind of thought that you are fixated to my God better than your God, fixated to your religious belief, that you think that my way is the only way. I am right, you are wrong. Every one of you is wrong because you do not believe like what I do. Okay, and this is really, really serious. They're really, what you call, this is the toughest one. And all the evil can come from here, causing all the, holy war. And this is the type of Jerry that is most difficult to get rid of, to purge. My God is better than your God. That caused that holy war for how long? The crusade, 200-300 years. 200-300 years is because of my God is better than your God, you see. But when you can see this real mental space, you can smile like Mona Lisa. Yeah. Because you just know within. You just know within. You there is not many words that you can explain. Among these, all these ascended master Lao Tzu, the first two verses in Tao Te Ching, he said that Tao, which is the truth, has no name, void. Whatever that has name is not the truth, is not Tao. Wow.
I like that.
This is so profound. And it's so spot on as well. Absolutely spot on. Okay, the truth has no name. Whatever that has name is not the truth. Okay, so this is it. If you are still if people still fighting over all these different type of Jerry, it means that they know nothing yet. They don't know anything about the source yet. And this is the part that you got to explore within to be able to understand the external world. So if you don't explore within to understand what's going on within about Jerry and try to defeat Jerry, by means of meditation or bring your mental self back home, there is no way for you to understand the world externally. And the trouble is that, our government leaders, they may be intelligent with the high IQ, but they are not wise in the spiritual realm. They are not wise within. Okay, so therefore they don't have enough knowledge really to steer the world, to steer humanity into this definite goal. And this definite goal is is nirvana, God, for source, back to source.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, wow. You touched
I think
you just answered all my question right there, right? So it would be pretty much end of the show. But before I lost my train of thoughts, going from the beginning, your consciousness plus motion plus energy, you mentioned about the Atlantis. Oh, that's really interesting too. I started reading about the Atlantis continent, but that could be off topic. But getting into this topic here, I think we are this very powerful, like, fragment of God, like you say, right? So the religious war has been, the holy war, you said, has been fought for like the longest time. I think it's part of your God is better than my God, or my God is better than your God,
Even
right?
nowadays, it's still going on,
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
still going on, right?
All
It's
the
you,
different fractions within the same religion.
right.
You know,
But
Buddhism in Thailand is the same. It's the
right.
same.
But I like to say, Diet Coke, right? So you have this Diet Coke. I changed the word Coke to woke. So when you're awakened, but then you don't know much, right? You're died woke. I like to say that, right? So again, for you and I, we smile through upon these when someone start talking about their God is better than our God or things like that, right? When that you see right through that, because it's not about God. God is one, and they, he or she, right? We just said created us, and
Yes. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Lord Buddha, these are like those entity in human form to remind us is completely true. So what I learned, right, about like a lot of people ask too, like how do you get there? Ajahn Supawan, you have so many followers, and you are teaching this to a lot of people as well. And for me, I try to do it on myself. And what I notice is, prior to all my like just want to be by myself, getting in touch with myself, it didn't work. I mean, like I tried to understand more of myself, but then it seems like I have followers. So I have 3 followers, and I'm just like, Jesus had 3 followers before, right? And these followers, they start doing the same thing I was doing. So like we get up at 5 a.m., we do some tai chi, and we pray and we do meditation. But all that, it's just such a boring world if you think about it, right? Like, so I would change meditation to just sit and close your eyes and get in touch with yourself. It's the easiest thing, right? Like, so what do you do? I said, I would just sit and stay with yourself, close your eyes, and try to focus on one thing at a time. And it just touches them. They started seeing things. Here's the thing, John Super One. More of what I wanted to touch when you talk about you need a teacher, and you need a teacher that can guide you with a map, correct? When I became a
Yeah.
monk, when I became a monk, I didn't learn anything because teachers weren't teaching me, right? So when all we did was meditate, we pray. And then I started seeing things. I started, when you close your eyes, your pineal gland starts activate, and you start seeing things. Like you see
All
energy.
sorts of things can happen. Yeah, when
Yeah,
you close your eyes.
what I
Yeah.
saw could not be explained, and I think it was the quantum energy all around us, right? We see that, and I asked Prajan, right, the monk, I said, what is that? And he just shuts me down and said, like, just know. He doesn't explain more of it. He just said, just know.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
quite
right.
typical.
So
Yeah.
it was end of the road, and I go back into the matrix. So when you try to ascend more and more, and someone shut you down, especially someone with a name, right? Oh, he's a name. He's Long Pa something, shuts you down, and then gives you this information where, like, don't worry about that. You're just seeing things, right? So go back into your focusing on your breath, breathing, and things like that, right? And live your life. And then I feel like the more he said that, the more I wanted to know more. But then I end up in an asylum. But then in the asylum is where all these intelligent people, they start knowing and seeing things, right? And they get put there, and they take this medication where it reduces this or increases their serotonin, and then they go numb, right? They can't activate their DNA after the conscious is being numbed down. I feel bad for them. But anyways, we have to. Well, I got to the part where I know it just comes to you, like the information comes to you, like you're thinking of something, like your thoughts are so powerful that if you wish for something, like for example, I don't have much jobs now, right? I don't work full time, so I feel that this path was given to me where, hey, you have a lot of time now, right? So get up, go upstairs, sun gaze, meditate, pray, right? And then after that, well, you start to think about how you want to live your life. So I look at what I have to pay my bills. For example, I gotta pay this, I gotta pay this, I gotta pay that, and then a job comes to you. So this consciousness and motion equals energy. So your thought just boom right into this universe. So you're your own universe, and people don't know that, right? And then they're like, "How do you do that?" It's I can't explain to them because they're like, no, you're not talking science and you're not talking physics or geometry. You're just babbling random words. You can't just think and then get something, right? But they don't really know about the law, right? The law of attractions and all that, which you probably know about it too a lot. And when this thing comes to you, I started to know that, hey, I'm not just someone. I'm like this conscious being in this planet, on this planet, that could actually create something out of my consciousness, right? So I think, and then everything just happens, and it happens for a reason. And then in the end, you talk about how we all have this emotion, the ET controls us, right? I wanted to say that I kind of like that because it's like a game, right? When you complete a game, you're like, can we play a harder game? So I feel like when we're a kid, and you mentioned about, well, when we started like, being a baby, and then you start talking about like this light sources likes to just move around and find out more and more of wanting to know more information, right? The kids are like that, right? You're 5 years old. You all you do is like, I can't stay still. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta learn. I'm happy. So they're happy. They're happy little children. So I every time I look at one, I don't know why. I don't have children myself, but I've been like close to a lot of children from like what I've been teaching, and I feel like that's part of me learning as well. Because when I look at children, I get annoyed. They're crying, they're screaming at a restaurant like that, right? I feel annoyed, and then I finally understand why we have to get close to them, because they were the answer that you were searching for, because they wanted to learn more and more. But what are we doing now? We're on social media, we're dancing, we're doing TikTok videos, right? We don't want to learn anymore. We want to keep this vibration very low, you know, right?
Dumb.
Yeah. So everything, like whatever you just said, like that, that could wake a lot of people up and could raise a lot of vibrations and creative thoughts into like what their life is all about. I think I heard one of the speaker talking about how a woman is really powerful, and then that the society, the government is, or entertainment industry, right, is creating women to go and be an accountant, for example. Like they are so powerful that they can create children, right? Hold that 9 months and then release a newborn baby out. A men can't do that. Of course, we have the DNA to match with that. And then he was saying like that is your weapon. That was so powerful that you can literally enjoy the moment in your life with the newborn baby, with your newborn baby. And in the end, when you're on your deathbed, right, when you're dying, people ask like, what was the main thing that you would like to do before, if you had the time? Every mother or grandmother, they all said the same thing. I wish I spent time with my children more. I wish I could teach them more. But they're too busy with accounting, with work, right? Like you won't see any woman who's like about to die. It's like, I wish I could count or like finish my paperwork on time. No one's gonna say that. So yeah,
Okay. Can I talk to this
sure.
this point that you talk is very good. You know, uh, everyone said that, oh, I wish I could spend more time with my children, not too busy with work. And this is exactly what meditation is all about. What source is all about, that we all talk about, going back to source. So to make it clear to you, the meditation that I teach my students to do, this vipassana, okay, full foundation of mindfulness. Once you get to the fourth foundation, or innocent perception, okay, once you have that experience, know it well under your belt, that is the kind of moment that you can truly enjoy life as it is, just like walking into the garden. Even though it rained, you could appreciate the rain instead of saying, oh, what a miserable day. You could enjoy absolutely everything, in the garden, every breath, every moment, especially if you have young children. You can enjoy those innocent moments with them. And those innocent moments is the innocent perception that you can really truly enjoy. But this is the problem, is that most people cannot do this because their mind is all preoccupied with different type of Jerry. Oh, I got to do that. I got to go shopping. I got to pick this up. I got to book a holiday. Or, oh gosh, I got to find work. This work is rubbish. I got to borrow money, this and that, all the time.
Right.
We
Worry.
are occupied with different type of Jerry all the time. And even though, the lovely flowers, the tulip, everything, right in front of you, we cannot see. All we can see, you see, you cannot see. Let me show you. So the nice flower is in front of you, but if your consciousness or your mental eyes is taken over by Jerry, you can only see Jerry. You are living in the matrix, and even this in front of you, you cannot see. You cannot appreciate the beauty. You cannot appreciate the beauty, and this is what happened to humanity right now. Okay, and the reason for all this, mess in the world. So what we need to do is to help humanity to purge their Jerry by means of bring your mental self back home. That home is source, really. So once you can bring your mental self back home, back home to your foundation, your breath movement sensation, purge Jerry, only then will you be able to enjoy your immediate moment of here and now as it truly is. Okay?
Right.
And this is it. If you can do this, know exactly what innocent perception is, wow, your life would change drastically.
Yeah, drastically. We said the same thing.
180-degree turn. 180-degree turn. And when you said that, oh gosh, if I got to sacrifice this much, is it going to be worth my while? Not. Tell you that it's worth everything.
Oh,
Just invest, dedicate yourself, put down the time, discipline yourself, just keep up with the practice of the four foundation of mindfulness until you know what innocent perception is. And only then you are so wealthy. But this wealth, it's not the material wealth, it's the spiritual wealth, your spiritual wealth. You're so wealthy in the sense that even though you're quite poor, your pocket, you don't have much money, you can enjoy life. You can truly enjoy life. You look at the raindrop, the snow, the wind, the sunshine, everything in front of you is just heaven. And that is the real heaven. And that is the real Garden of Eden in the kingdom of God, right in front of you. We have never left the Garden of Eden of the kingdom of God, never have left.
Right.
We only just, blind.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is just take away a Jerry, take away the ignorance. But to get to this point, you need a very detailed map, life map, to guide you. The intuitive, the guided wisdom got to be clear. And then the meditation technique got to be clear as well, to help the student to get to the innocent perception or go back to source, like Odo, back to the change. And then the way that he described that is nothing is home. And now that we talk about ascension, talking about going back to the 5D. In fact, 5D is not actually source. Source is much further. The different dimension is the different way of measure the different frequency. That's all. So at the moment, we all know that Mother Gaia have ascended to the fifth dimension. It means that Mother Gaia, the frequency is getting higher. So we 7 or 8 billion, I don't know, on the surface of the earth of Mother Gaia, if we don't ascend along with Mother Earth, we'll be in trouble. We'll be in trouble in the sense that both physical body and the mind, okay, is going to swing like hell. The reason that it swing Okay, swing in the physical body. If you swing, you will have headache. You've got all this ache and pain, the joint, everything. It just something is just go wrong, and then you just don't feel good. And then emotionally, you swing as well with stress, worry, anxiety, all these things. And the reason of this swinging is because the frequency of your energy of this life form is only photon bouncing together. Okay, because the frequency of your energy is not compatible or not synchronized with the energy of Mother Gaia. It's off balance. It's off balance. So that's why you swing both physically and mentally, spiritually, and your life is hell. I don't care how much money you have. Okay. I mean, you can pretend yourself, I'm okay. But I know, because as within, so without, because I know how Tom and Jerry work within. So that's why I can understand the individual, who, and everyone, especially on social media, they like to pretend, oh, my life is so perfect. Like that. No
Mediocre.
one is perfect.
You're right,
The
right.
only thing, the only perfect, state is that person have the ability to melt in with source or not,
Right.
Okay, so that's why this period of time of humanity is just so exciting in the way that we
Challenge.
are in the very challenging,
Very
because we are
challenging.
in the middle of change, drastic change, changing the frequency of the energy. So how you can move up, go along with Mother Gaia, synchronize the compatible with the energy. The answer is doing meditation. The answer is doing meditation, and then learn to be really, get rid of your ego, all this ego, having more loving kindness and compassion, serving others more than you serve yourself, that kind of thing. Okay. And then more caring, more compassionate, more forgiving, having patience. Just don't blow too easily, only a bit, and then you blow, you get angry, all these things. You just
Yeah,
have to
right.
change all this attitude, and then it's all help. And then, but the very shortcut, a fast, faster speed is just focus on meditation. But then again, meditation, you need, guided wisdom to begin with.
Right.
Okay, so I try to wrap this up for you, and everyone can do it. Everyone can do it. Okay, it's not difficult. It's not difficult. If the map is clear enough, you can do it. Yeah. So I would say that it's worth every effort that you put in, every grain of effort that you put in, to,
Hmm.
because the end result is just, oh my God, there is no word that can describe that level of happiness. It's not the kind of happiness that you're jumping up with joy because you can get what you want. No, but it's the moment that every moment of your life is full, is filled, is wholesome, that you don't want anything else. If you got a
Exactly.
house over you, a roof over your head, you got meal, you got everything. You don't need anything. You just try to make your home environment, livable and nice enough. Make a nice garden. Nice,
Hmm.
make nice garden. I love my gardening. At 1 year, I used to have 200 tulips in my garden.
Wow. 200.
I bought 80 bulbs back from Holland, and that 80 bulbs produce roughly about 200, that spring up from everywhere. Just absolutely beautiful.
Hmm.
And I don't have to go far at all. I don't have to go, don't have to book a holiday,
Yeah.
to here and there, just to enjoy myself, make myself happy. I'm quite happy in my own corner in the garden. I meditate in the garden, Tai Chi in the garden. If I
Hmm.
can, do yoga in the garden. I do my work, writing in the garden. So during that lockdown, at the beginning of 2020, to be honest, the lockdown, I quite enjoy it.
Me
I don't
too.
have to prepare myself for
Me
guests.
too.
No one come, no one go. So I just spend my whole summer in the garden, and that's how I finished this book. I finished this book during that lockdown, writing nearly 400 something pages. Yeah.
Right.
During that lockdown, just keep on writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to leave this for everyone, for your audience. Okay, if you really want to learn how to meditate, okay, I start a one of my student, Roslyn. Okay, Roslyn, she really want to support my work, so we do the interview once a week. You can go into that if you don't mind, Peter, to put Roslyn website,
Sure. Yeah.
okay, YouTube channel, okay, for people to follow. Or and then I also have a class here in England. I go to Wat Mahathat, King's Bromley, if you live in England, in the neighborhood. Yeah. But in the future, if I have enough interest, I can do the teaching online. And I also have the meditation center, Bring a Mental Self Back Home center in Thailand. The meditation center that is complete now. So in the future, I will arrange, okay, I will arrange a retreat, an English speaking, for English speaking people as well at the center. Have the schedule for them so that they can book and do it. Yeah,
Right.
I got to do my best to quickly work while I still have the energy,
Yeah.
because I'm not getting any younger. And then, why I'm still have the energy. I just want to help as many people as possible.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So we
And
all,
so, yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
To touch the rest, just add a little bit more of what you mentioned about happiness, about the lockdown and everything. A lot of people, they oh, I want to get back to normal, want to travel here, take pictures, all that.
that's so
This is
right.
yeah, this is part of the happiness you gain as the moment you start this, getting in touch with yourself. Like sometimes the term meditation could felt hard at times, but to be able to, talk to your heart and your consciousness is to be still, right? That's the only time where you can be able to talk. But if you have all these noises around you, like Jerry, right, it's difficult for you to do it. And then, at one time, at Johnson One, I'll be honest with you, I had $5 after paying off my bills. I had $5, right? And then people ask me, hey, you want to go out for lunch? I said, oh no, I'm good, right? It's like, what? You usually go out to eat. I said, no, 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 I've been cooking. I bought a bunch of things. I've been cooking. I've been enjoying it, getting in touch with my other self, cooking. And then okay, and then one of our friend came over. I cooked for her, and she was like, "Wow, so good." I'm like, "Thank you. I'll cook some more if I had all the money to buy some some ingredients." But anyways, after a little bit, I just started to work on the law more, and then more jobs started coming in. But then I didn't accept too many because I wanted to be with myself more, right? And it's just like the moment you start to know that everything is grateful, like you're walking outside and you're like, oh, it's windy, but it feels so good. Oh, it's hot today, but the sun is helping me with the immune system. You can't have a negative thought. You're like, I don't want to go out.
Always find thing that you can feel grateful for, appreciate.
Yeah.
It's important that you do that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So in the end, I'll leave that the word that Thanos from Marvel Avengers. He said, "It's a grateful universe." Right. So everything is grateful. He always say that everything leads up to now. Right. There's a lot of fear outside, but if we're able to come out of that fear, we could be living with true happiness. And to be able to live, you can't just go out and be like, yeah, I'm at the top already. You have to be at the bottom first. Like I said, everything Ajahn Supawan said now, everything's a challenge. Work it, right? Make it worth it, because it can't be easy. Life can't be easy. I don't know, when people say like, oh, I want life to be easy, I don't understand what they mean by that. It's like, everybody have their own worst experience and far experience, but when you learn from that, you grow up, like level up, right? You play a game, you level up, level 99, whatever you want to call it. But everything has to happen for you to be affected, your emotion, everything, and then you learn from that, right? That's the whole
Yeah.
point of life, right? We're in
A
this human
challenge
form.
is good. Allow you to fight.
Yeah,
Challenge can be Jerry and
that's it.
allow you to
Yeah.
right? You will have that learning, that skill to push Jerry to be free. So all challenge is good.